play what you gotta play.
Freddie T, you never played special teams.
I have, man.
My guy. What up?
Good to see you, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Coach.
Welcome back.
Appreciate you, baby.
Welcome back.
Hey, I
man.
actually played.
Young man.
I actually played personal protector in the Super Bowl.
See?
Yeah.
You gotta earn your keep, man. How you get on that
Man,
field,
listen,
get on
I
that
ain't
field.
even playing no special teams.
Special teams ain't important.
It's important,
Very
but not
important.
for me. Cole, I gotta go chase tight ends and tackle Marshawn Lynch. I can't run down on no punt.
We just need you on one. That's the,
Hey,
trying to, hey,
Coach, I had so my homeboy, I met his girlfriend comes over and like we ended up being really good friends, and he had told her that he played special teams because he was too important to be utilized all the time. So when I met her dad, he was like, you know what, this girl came home and told me that he was on the very special teams.
Coach, I like your style though, man. I was in year 12 and 13 in New England.
Yeah.
Everybody does everything. Yeah. Unless you're Brady, probably.
Yeah, that's the
Scout
Belichick
team,
way.
special team, year 12.
Yeah, but you didn't do it the first 10 in Jacksonville.
I did it year 1.
Man.
Y'all
I
keep
did it
that.
in the game. I got snaps in the game on special team, punt return.
Okay, let's talk about what we're here for, because that's not true.
I mean, we could go in depth about that maybe a little
Very
later, but I want to
Yeah,
talk.
that's not true.
But you say that about New England, and I'm sure that a lot has to do with Belichick. And now, was Saban, when you were with Saban, did he?
Yeah.
Man,
I was with him my rookie year, though. So
You was on special teams.
I'll run down there, yeah. But now, once I'm leading the team in tackle, coach, you can keep that punt. Man, I'm tired as hell already, coach. I can still taste the gin from last night. I can't run down on no punt team, coach.
Hold up, limitless. Niggas to me, cap pinning it. I fought the here to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Trust, limitless. Niggas to me, cap pinning it. I fought the here to witness it. Got my people feeling militant.
That is the pivot. Gin and confessions at Notre Dame. Channing Crowder, Fred Taylor, Ryan Clark, Marcus Freeman. Welcome back, man.
Thank you.
You're different, Marcus Freeman now, and Notre Dame is a different Notre Dame thanks to the success that you guys have had. Pivot fam, thank y'all for pivoting with us. This is our college football training camp show. Coach, talk about what last year's run did for the perception of yourself as a head coach and Notre Dame headed into the 2025 season.
Yeah, I think you said it right. The perception's different, and that's to each person's opinion, right, of what they think of this place. And what I love most about what that run did for us, one, it was a special run for the people that were involved on that team, right? And that's what gives me the most gratification is being able to, reach some great heights. We didn't finish it, but for those guys, but it's also helped in recruiting, right? I think that people that have grown up probably a little bit older like us that understand the Notre Dames of the past, the great teams, the 88 team, the 90s, but this younger generation maybe didn't have that perception of this place. And I think now young people at least say, okay, Notre Dame was in the national championship game. Maybe I want to go check that place out, right? And if we can get kids on campus here, then it's our job to convince them it's the right place for them.
I don't want to say it's more pressure because they say pressure's a privilege and all that. But just now getting a place like Notre Dame back to where you are in national championships, does Marcus Freeman have to do anything different?
Yeah, I don't want to give coach speak, right? But the reality is we talk about reaching our full potential. Like that's the goal. I don't sit here every day and say there's one goal, we got to be the national champions. Like that's too big. Like that, don't focus on that. We know every team wants to win the national championship, but how do we reach our full potential? I told the team this at the beginning of training camp, and I'm a firm believer in this, in that with tradition comes responsibility. And we have a responsibility to leave this place as coaches, as players, as people that work here better than we found it. And I think that's more pressure than any opponent, any perception can put on you. Like, how do we elevate this football program from where we were last year? Right? That's more pressure than any opponent and anybody can put on you.
But even with that, Coach, you're talking about pressure. I mean, just looking back at last season, you guys lost to Northern Illinois. Notre Dame losing to Northern Illinois, but
Tough time, boy.
yeah, right. But you went on to
You see
win.
Coach post game?
Hey, listen.
I just
Of
shot my
all
ball
teams.
text. I was like, hey, Coach. Stay with it.
Of all teams, but you go on to win 14, 13 in a row. Like, so what kind of shifted in that run, in that comeback, and how much of that are you able to bottle and, share with the team to kind of show them for this season that, look, anything's possible as long as we stick with it?
Yeah. Ryan, obviously, Jordan was a part of it, and he could tell you what happened from a player's perspective. It was a low moment. Well, listen, the week one, we beat a top program, right, in A&M, and so I knew we were a good football team. Then week two, to lose to Northern Illinois, man, that's tough.
Right.
And I remember telling the team in the locker room, I can just remember like it's yesterday, I said, I've been here before. My first year, we lost to Marshall. And it's going to be a long week. And everybody outside of this locker room is going to be really loud, right? And you can hear it, and you can listen to it, you can read it, or you can stay together, right? And that's what I told him. I said, but I've been here before. We're going to get back to work. And so I remember going back to my office, watching film, and trying to figure out, like, what the heck happened? And there's X's and O's that we had to fix, but there was a greater lesson. I remember driving home. This is about midnight, and I'm like, God, what happened? Like, what is the lesson I'm trying to learn? And I went back, and I just counted from the first day of training camp to the loss, and it was 40 days. And 40 is an important number in the Christian faith, but also it said there's a bigger lesson. And I said, I didn't know as a head coach how to handle success. See, the first 2 years I was the head coach, we had lost to Ohio State early in the year. So we lost a big game early. Now we finished with 9 wins, 10 wins, but we had never won that big game early. And I said, that's the lesson. I remember going in there the next day and saying, the lesson we have to learn from this is how to handle success, no matter who the opponent is.
Right.
There's a physical preparation, but there's a mental respect you gotta have for your opponent. And each individual is the only one that knows, do I respect this opponent the way you're supposed to respect the game of football? Because it'll humble you if you don't.
Right.
And I told him, I said, if we can remember this, how to handle success, this will be the greatest lesson that this football program has learned for the entire season. Right. And in every week I'd say, keep the pain. Keep the pain. Keep the pain. And I would always remind them, I didn't care if it was the next week or if it was 10 weeks or we're getting ready for the national championship. Keep the pain. And I remember I wrote them a letter. It was a letter to the team, and I would bring that letter. I brought it out three times, right? That Monday we met after the game, before the USC game, which was the last game of the season to get into the playoffs, and then before the national championship. And it's just a reminder, man, to keep the pain. And it was a great lesson, man. Right. It was a great lesson for me and for that program.
As a parent, right, it was just such a fun ride. I think it was the people that we got to do it with, the parents that we got to be around each and every week. The way people legitimately hated us when we walked into stadiums, I thought that was fun. And I almost got in a fight out front when we played Indiana as well.
We had to fight somebody.
Can I hear what happened? Can I hear what happened?
We'll talk about it on camera, Coach. But it was just it was a year where, like, we became family, and we weren't even here for an entire 365 days. One of the toughest moments and one of the sort of most rewarding moments was the Sugar Bowl. Obviously, the tragedy that happens on New Year's, and the way that the entire university, but the entire football family came together and took care of one another. I mean, I think it's something that I'll remember forever. I'll forever be indebted to the school, to you, and to everybody that worked with you. Can you just talk a little bit, Coach, about how you immediately shifted from head coach of a university, head coach of a football team, to the person that was on TV, the person that had to deal with those players, with those coaches, the person that had to deal with the authorities? Just how did you tap in to be such a great leader of men in that time?
When I think about that moment, that night, I remind myself, like, life is a makeup of unpredictable moments. Like, there's unpredictable things that happen, and how you handle those unpredictable things, to me, determine on the success. And I remember when I got the call, hey, they said it was an incident. Like, I didn't know exactly what happened, and this was early in the morning, and so I go down there, and they didn't say the game's gonna be canceled or anything like that. We're getting ready for the game, and we give them a little bit of break between walkthroughs, and then we have team meal before we head to the stadium. And I remember during that break, I got a call from our AD that said, hey, they're gonna postpone the game. I don't know if it's gonna be tomorrow. I don't know if it's gonna be 2 days from now, but they're postponing the game. And I said, okay, unpredictable moment. How do we fix this? So I go downstairs, I grab the captains. In tough moments, I value the input of our leaders. And I grabbed the captains and I said, here's the situation. I grabbed our sports science guy. I grabbed our strength coach and said, here's the situation. What do we need to do? I don't know when the game's gonna be. What do we need to do immediately to make sure that if we play tomorrow, like we're physically gonna be ready to go? Do we need to run? Do we need to go practice? What physically do we need to do? And they kind of suggested, hey, I don't know if we need to go and have a walkthrough in the stadium, but we need to get flushed and run and do some things. I said, okay, we're gonna do that. And I said, captains, like, you guys have any opinion on it? Coach, we're good, man. We're gonna reiterate that message. We're gonna go do whatever we need to do. They're loyal. They're just loyal individuals. But then the next thing I said, okay, I don't wanna sit here and meet all day and make you guys go through walkthroughs in a hotel when you have your parents at a hotel a block away and they can't touch their kids. And I said, in these moments, man, as a parent, myself, all you want to do, you can call your son, are you okay? But you physically want to be around your child. And I said, how long do we need to get physically ready, have a quick meal? Because what I want to do is I want to get the parents to this hotel so that the parents can feel a sense of comfort, but the players can feel a sense of comfort knowing that their parents are comfortable. And that's what we did. We had Shannon Vincent, our parent coordinator there, and she got a hold of the parents, and I think that was important. You know, I think there's some people that say, I don't want any distractions right now. We're going to just do walkthroughs and meeting and football. Man, there was just a tragedy. You know, there was a tragedy. And sometimes, man, love and family is bigger than just football. And so that was what we did. And it's a reflection of the Notre Dame community, the football program, but the community in itself, you know, in tough times coming together.
Yeah, Jordan called me crying, and he was like, go home. Because we were like right up the street. He was like, y'all don't need to come to the game. Nobody needs to be down here. This stuff is happening. And I said, hey, man. I was like, well, I don't know what you want. I was like, but we'll be here. And I was like, and if we can come see you, we're going to come see you. And whenever they kick that football off, we'll be in the stadium. But you were right. To get an opportunity to sit with him and have my parents there and have, you know, his other relatives that are able to see him and to touch him and to let him know that we were good so they could be good, I think that was a huge part of what made all of us feel comfortable being there. So we appreciate you.
Oh, good.
And Coach, is that a coaching technique or just morals and humanity? Because I've had coaches that would call me and be like, hey, you going home for Thanksgiving? Nah, come to the crib, my wife's cooking.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was, I wanted my All-American linebacker to make more tackles next week, or if it's just that mid-ground because you're not being judged off that Joe called his daddy and cried. You're being judged off your 33-10 record at Notre Dame.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
What part of that is that just you, or did you, like you're saying, is that a strategy?
Yeah, for me, it's why you do what you do. And yeah, I'm a competitive dude. I want to be the best at what I do. We're competitors, right? But that's not why I do what I do, right? It's because I truly want to make sure that the young people you coach are better football players and better men because they chose to play football, the place you're the leader of. Like, that's why I do what I do. And so when you have a player come to your house, or you have 120 players come to your house, right? When you're around those guys, when you pull them into your office and say, hey, let's have a real conversation, it isn't about wins and losses as much as it is about, you know what, I want this young person to be better because of the time we spent together. And that means caring about him as an individual, caring about his families. And so you don't do that for me to win games, but you know what?
It helps.
It helps.
Yeah. I run through a wall for Charlie Strong to this day.
Amen. And you know, I bet Coach Strong was probably hard on you. But you knew he loved you.
Mm-hmm.
You knew he loved you. And Jordan would tell you, like, at times I'm hard on him, but they know I care about them. Like, I try to tell them more than not that, hey, I love you. Now, I'm going to get after your ass. I'm going to get after you, but I love you. I swear I love you. And when you feel that way about somebody, you know what? That's when you'll run through a brick wall.
Yeah, I think as a parent, bigger recruiting tool than, you know, this loose environment of NIL and all that craziness is the genuineness that comes from, you know, the people that I'm sending my child off to be with for the next 4 to 5 years or whatever. So I think that always will play in a role. Like Denzel just said, all money ain't good money, right? So, I mean, this is what you need. You need that real leadership so you can develop men. And, you know, it's always good to see you on the sideline because I know what you stand for. But it's always even better to see you when I know that you a place like this here in Notre Dame with so much tradition, you got the most wins in the history of this college, right? Of this program. You're the first African-American and Asian head coach to coach in the national championship playoff game. I wanted to ask you, just in the first year of that format, the playoff, just the schedule itself, what it took to kind of go through that type of season. I mean, it's a long season, right? Ups and downs, ebbs and flows, but you found a way to, you know, get through it and put your guys in position to, you know, win it all. Like, just kind of give us a recap and, you know, the challenges, the ups and downs, and just everything else that went along with it.
Yeah, we had a plan before the season started that said, hey, if we're fortunate to make the playoffs, how are we going to do the final exams and get ready for our first playoff game? And we had 40 guys taking an exam the day before we played Indiana in that playoff game. I mean, it's you know, you got to go to school here.
Yes,
you know what I mean? And you have to study too.
Yeah.
You know, that's the part of Notre Dame. You know, we've talked about the season, and then it just became these one-game seasons, man. And you get ready to play an Indiana team that had done a heck of a job in Notre Dame Stadium. First playoff game on a campus. It was rocking. It was cold, but it was rocking. It was rocking, man.
Yeah, right.
That was a special night, you know. Then all of a sudden you get ready for Georgia. Now, you try to humanize them, right? I said, they're football players, man. You can't let perception of the mighty SEC, the Georgia Bulldogs, beat you before you step on the field.
Yeah.
Right? They're men. Like, they're just like us. I got so much respect for Coach Smart. Mm-hmm. That's a ball coach, man. That's a ball coach. And that football team. But the one thing this program ain't going to do is fear no one. Mm. No one. Like, we're going to go in this thing. We're going to go in there fighting. And that's, you know, people make a big deal about the A&M entrance. And when I was getting ready to go, and like, that's what dogs, hey, we got me some dogs, man, let's go. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I was once a player. I'm a competitor. Like, we don't fear no one.
And the atmosphere was nuts.
It was crazy. That's one of the best. A&M, it was one of the best. But, like, these dudes didn't fear no one, right? And it showed when we're down 7 versus Penn State. Mm. We're down 7 versus Penn State at halftime, and you're down. What you gonna do? Mm-hmm. Right? You gonna go out there and fight and claw and do whatever it takes to find a way to win this game, or you gonna start feeling bad for yourself. And that's what they did. They went back and they started fighting, man. And then all of a sudden you realize, oh shoot, we're in the national championship.
Right.
We're in the national championship, and we know how that went. The thing that I remember about that game is these dudes never laid down. We were down 21 in the third, and they never laid down. They just kept going. They kept believing, and you know what? It was that third down, 3rd and 11 or whatever it was, and Jeremiyah Smith, and great play. It's a great team, and we lost. But this dude's never quit. But I spent a lot of time saying, what could I as a leader done differently? There's lessons in losing, man. There's lessons in winning, but there's real lessons in losing. And, if we get that opportunity, we earn that opportunity again, we'll make some minor changes in the preparation, and we're going to go out there and go swing.
Coach, earlier today we was talking about confession and going to see the priest. I got a confession right here on camera. I rooted for you guys every single game because of you and because of Jordan.
Yeah.
The Penn State game, not so much because of Coach Sider, my cousin.
Oh, yeah.
So I was rooting for Cuz and all of them, but he's here now on your staff. So
had to get him.
Him and Elijah's over here. So I'm faithfully a Notre Dame Irish fan. For the whole
About time.
I appreciate it.
He was hating that week, Coach.
Just
Penn
that
State
week.
Coach Free, he was hating that week.
I mean, but that's family, right?
Coach Free,
We
the
talking
pivot
about
almost broke up that week.
talking about
Hey,
family,
man, that's
Coach.
family,
I know, but Jay Blood, so he's here now. Amazing recruiter, amazing running back coach. That's my family, so I'm all in, and then Elijah's here.
Yeah.
So I'm a Florida boy, born and raised.
Yep.
I would root for the Hurricanes when you guys come down. That's the 31st.
That's right.
But I'm all Notre Dame. I'm all Notre
appreciate it,
Dame.
man.
So everybody's a U fan back home. I'm going for Notre Dame. Letting you know now.
Coach Free, I love the fact that he mentioned Elijah, right? Because he didn't mention Plax.
Yeah.
But obviously Jordan was here. B. Young's son, Kennedy was here last year. He's transferred now. I think it's Thomas Davis, Larry Fitzgerald, Jermichael Finley, like all of these former NFL players, and not like, hey, this dude had a cup of coffee in the NFL. Like dudes who were able to create wonderful careers for themselves. Jerome Bettis, son's here. What do you think it is, man, that's now allowing Notre Dame to attract all of this NFL pedigree into its university, into their football team?
I think about that, and I kind of split into two buckets, right? One is fathers that were great NFL players, like Bettis and Bryant Young, that went to Notre Dame. And then you got guys like yourself, guys like Urlacher, you mentioned, Elijah Burris, who's here, and some other guys that are committed here. That's a different bucket. I remember having a meeting with Jerome Bettis Jr., Bryce Young, who's Bryant Young's son, James Flanagan, who's on our team. And I remember saying, if I can't convince you, whose father went to Notre Dame, that this is the right place for your future athletically, academically, in life, then I've failed as a coach. And I remember having a meeting with him, right in front of their dads, who said, I failed as a coach if I can't convince you guys that this is the right place for you, because you see it in your fathers. And everything they've done athletically, but who they are as men now. And the other ones is I think everyone's different, but I think number one, they all understand that if you're good enough to go to the NFL, you go to Notre Dame and you're going to be able to make the NFL, right? But they also see the value in what else Notre Dame provides. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you're not. You're going to get this first-class education. Maybe you're here for a year. Well, you're going to have a chance to compete for a national championship, right? And be put in a position to go to the NFL. And so I think that's important, right? That they see the value in the athletic opportunities here, but the life's outside of football and the education. And the other things like moms are important. You know what I mean? Like that's moms are important. You can convince mom that this is the right place. We're good. You know what I mean? It's not as much the dads. We got to convince mom to make sure that this is the right place for their son.
Yeah, I was going to ask Coach about that point because Aronde Gaston Jr. plays for the Chargers, and I'm cool with his daddy.
Yep.
We just had this conversation. Is it nature or nurture? My dad played in the league, too.
Yeah.
So your dad played in the league, you're physically more capable of playing in the league, or your dad played in the league. Like, I watched Ryan work the hell out of Joe his whole life.
Yeah.
So, like, you know what it takes to make it. So is it that you know what it takes? Fred's son, you know what it takes, or there's something in the DNA?
It starts with genetics. I mean, that starts with genetics. You know what I mean? I've never, I say I'm a bad coach if I ain't got good players. You know what I mean? Like you gotta. It's genetics, and then how you develop the genetics, right? It's when you get them both. That's when the special ones occur. They got genetics, and they're around people that know what it takes to play at that high level. That's when the special ones happen. You know, but hey, there's a lot of people in the NFL that didn't produce great kids. They didn't produce great talent, and those dudes aren't playing in the NFL, right? Just because you play in the NFL don't mean you're producing a kid that has that athletic ability.
It'd be like Marcus Jordan out there cutting up. His daddy the greatest ever. I have a question though. You mentioned the moms, right? My favorite Notre Dame shirt last year was, I forget who was playing. Their coach wasn't very attractive. And this girl's walking to the stadium and her shirt said, "Our coach is hotter than yours."
Oh,
right? Hey, you know what I mean? And so then it's the biggest stage, right? It's not biggest, but the semifinals. And James Franklin hating on your headline, coach. you know what I'm saying? How funny has it been though? Is like as great as a coach you are, as you coach it at a school like Notre Dame, your looks has become a big part of the Marcus Freeman production.
Man, I tell you what. Yeah, I try to stay away from that as much as I can. You know what I mean? There ain't gonna be a good answer for this question. You know, I tell you what, I just got to try to keep my wife happy. That's it. I'm just trying to keep my wife happy, man. And I let people say whatever they want to say. You know what I mean?
So no GQ spreads or nothing come around the corner?
They gotta get that Travis Kelce 15-pager, man.
That's what I'm talking about.
Man, maybe we could do that if we win a national championship. You know what I mean?
On 15, 16 wins
That's right.
around here.
That's it.
But even going back to that, because I was actually trying to go somewhere, and I kind of lost my train of thought. But really, I started to question with the 14 wins, the most in franchise, in the history of this school, being the first black African-American, being the first African-American Asian head coach to coach in the national championship game. I wanted to talk about legacy. Do you pay attention to what you've done, what you're doing here in the legacy and, being the first of first and all that different stuff?
No, because I'm focused on what's next, right? At some point, you're going to be done. At some point, you're going to be done coaching, and you then can look back and say, man, what an impact you made.
Right.
But that's not my focus. My focus on what can we do to become a better football program? What can I do to be a better leader? A lot of it was brought up about being the first black head coach to coach a national championship game, Asian head coach. And I think as I said in the moment, like, it's an honor, man. Mm-hmm. And it makes you reflect on the people that have paved the way for me to do that. It makes me reflect on Jack Swarbrick, who was the AD at the time, and Father John Jenkins, the president of Notre Dame, that said, you know what, we're going to hire this 35-year-old, never been a head coach at Notre Dame. Like, those are the people that should deserve the credit. They gave me the opportunity. Right. All I've tried to do is to make the most of this opportunity. But I do hope it creates an opportunity for the next Marcus Freeman, right? That's what you hope it does. It does create an opportunity. But I just hate it being about one person. Right? Yeah, it's that moment, this Notre Dame football, we're going to the national championship. And that's what I always wanted to be about, man, is about team glory, about us. And it's the media's job of people to, have individual glory. But my job in the football facility is to make sure it stays about the team.
Coach, I think something really cool that you do is like you bring back, whether it's, because like I sat with Manti Te'o actually for the Northern Illinois game. He texted me, he's like, and I never sat in the box. I was like, oh, this is really cool. You know what I mean? I sat with him during that game, but you bring back people to talk to the team. And a tradition that I thought, was really cool as well was the senior tradition. One, at first, beginning of the year, Jordan didn't want to be a part of, because he was like, Pop, like, I've only been here 1 year. Like, I don't really know if I could consider myself a Notre Dame man, whatever. And then very late, he was like, hey, I want to do it. And I'll share something on this show that I don't think people know. Jackie Taylor was actually playing here. Sean Taylor's daughter was actually playing here that week. Yep. Right? So we called Shannon, we called Katie, and we was like, hey, this is what we'd like to do. And y'all kind of explained that, or they explained to us that it was like, you get to pick somebody who's a role model, somebody you model yourself after. He picked Sean. And so it all worked out that he got to get the jersey signed by Jackie. Jackie was here. Coach Golden, it was really cool. How much for you, reinstituted the mass and the walk? How important is it for you to continue to allow Notre Dame to keep up with the change in generations and eras, but also keep it rooted in that tradition that makes Notre Dame unique and authentic?
Yeah. I said this to Channing earlier, right? With tradition comes responsibility. And if you understand the traditions, the people that have come before you to put this football program in the position it's in, you feel a greater sense of responsibility to leave it better. And that's why it's so important to me to bring back a Manti Te'o, to bring back some of those great ones. We studied the past, right? The past teams, the past individuals. I want our players to know the history and tradition of Notre Dame. I thought it was important to have masks before we play in the games at Notre Dame Stadium. And so those are decisions I make because I want us to feel a greater sense of responsibility for the position that we hold. But you also have to be adaptable, right? You can't just be old school, right? I don't want to ever be called old school. I want to say, dang, they understand the tradition of this place, but they're adaptable to the changes in college football, to the changes in the generations. And so it's a combination of both, but I'm a firm believer in that, man. You have to have a sense of responsibility to the people that have given you this opportunity.
And Coach, first 2 weeks, top 25 teams this season coming up. First game you win, Fred brought it up. I'm down in Miami. You know what I'm saying? I will be in that building watching you and the Canes play. Coming out the gate, how you feel about that game also, but the change in college football now where the NIL stuff creates a brand new quarterback. They have a new defensive coordinator. Like back in the day, you could have watched film.
Yeah.
I watched the last 4 games from last year. I know what they do. Nowadays, as things change in college football, what challenges does that present in early season games? And y'all deciding that we're going to come out the gate with some dogs.
Yeah. This is great, man. Like, we're competitors, and you want to play the only game on Sunday night, versus a great opponent. It'll be a top 10 opponent. It's exciting. We got a couple weeks to continue to focus on our prep before we get to them, but it's what it's about, man. Yeah. Like, that's what it's about. That's part of being at Notre Dame, too, being not in a conference. Like, we're going to go down and play Miami week 1, and then the next game we have A&M at home, and we got some Big Ten teams. We go down to Arkansas again, we play another SEC team, USC, and that's what Notre Dame is. You want to play the best of the best, and you're going to get the best of the best. As far as preparing for an opponent, like, that's college football now, right? Like, you're going to watch some film on – we had a lot of film on Carson back from when he was at Georgia. We thought we were getting ready to play him before he got injured. So you understand the talented player he is and the really good quarterback, and defensive coordinator's new from Minnesota, so you're going to watch the Minnesota film. But the game 1 is all about how you adapt, right? Like, hey, how your changes, okay, here's what this team's going to do. Right? Like, this is what this team's going to do. How do we attack it? And that's what game 1's all about, and about understanding who you are tactically as an offense, defense, special teams. And so it's going to be exciting, man. It's going to be warm. We're going down south. We've been there before. Now, we haven't been there when it's been all Miami fans. Yeah. But so it's going to be a different environment. I told them, don't expect the environment we had for the Orange Bowl. Yeah. No, there's a lot of Notre Dame fans in there with me. It's going to be rowdy. Yeah. And so, but we'll be ready to roll.
It's going to be warm. Y'all got some Heat fans or something?
No, we're good, man. Hey, we played the first game of the year at College Station.
Coach, yeah. What are you talking about? We'll be all right. Because I do have a question. You kind of have these conversations, and you come off of a great year like what you had, and like the questions all leads you to be able to say these positive things about these positive moments. But you said something earlier that struck me. You said, you know what, you learned a lot in the loss. What did you learn from the game against your alma mater and losing the national championship?
That game, there's tactical things that I learned. I remember after that game, going to the hotel, and I couldn't get out of my hotel room. Like, I knew there were some parents downstairs. I mean, I was hurt, embarrassed. And the next morning, I snuck downstairs to my office in the hotel and watched the game. And I needed to do that. And that's what I needed to do to reflect on that journey of 24. It was a special one. It didn't end where we wanted. We chased reaching our full potential, man. Like, if we didn't reach our full potential, we were damn close. We were this close. And so what do we got to do? What was the difference between that great team and maybe some of the good teams I've been a part of is talent, culture, development. That's what I believe the difference between good and great teams, talent, culture, development. Well, our culture and our development of that talent's not going to change. We got to continue to increase the talent, right? And we got to continue to develop and have a culture that gets these guys to love each other. So there's a lot of lessons I learned from that game. One is that we're good enough to be in that game. We're good enough to win that game. Right? We're good enough to win that game. We got to go back, and if we get an opportunity, we're going to prepare that. We'll try to make sure we don't make some of the mistakes we did, but this program's good enough every year to be in that game and win that game, but we got to earn the right to do that.
Coach, you, real quick, I know we got to wrap. You mentioned the guys that love each other, but talk about love, because I love love.
Mm-hmm.
I'm biased. I'm biased. Number 4, get it in.
Yeah.
Give me a little something about
He got
him,
some
man.
Freddie
Like,
T to him too, man.
yeah, we met. I met him at the Super Bowl, around the Super Bowl time. RC introduced us, and I'm like, man, he's huge. I know he's fast. I've seen him skate out, what was the 98-yarder?
Indiana.
Yeah, so, man, just how excited do you get when you see him out there on the field?
Man, I was so, in practice, as the head coach, I stand behind the offense. So we had practice yesterday, and it's a thud situation. Thud, man. Thud. All right, man, we be cool. So I watched this guy, one play, bang, he makes a cut. Somebody thuds him up, gives him an extra little shove. He get mad, and, that's J Love. They said, don't push me late. I'm good with that. So we take him out to play. The next play gets in there. Leonard Moore, All-American corner, right? Great good player. I see J Love get the ball, bam, makes a cut, sees Leonard, ducks his shoulder, pow, and I'm like, man, this dude. You know what I mean? That's like watching two sons go out like, come on, man.
Yeah.
But that's who he is. He's a competitor. Yeah. He is such a unique individual. Mm-hmm. He is a unique guy. I remember he didn't talk much when I recruited him, but you get to spend some time with him on the plane or outside of football facilities. He is such a creative mind, unique in him, but a competitor. Right. Like that dude wants the ball in his hands and he wants to punish you. And if you go low, he's gonna jump over top of you. And if you let him get open space, he's gonna outrun you. Yeah. So we gotta find ways to get the ball in his hands. Mm-hmm. And we're gonna be creative in how we do that.
Hey, Coach, you taking the Indiana run, the hurdles, got USC, Army, or the Penn State goal line run?
This might surprise some people. I'm taking the USC one. And here's why, right? Gets the ball, I don't know if it's swing pass, running to the sideline, okay? There's a dude coming, a defender coming. Goes low, he jumps over top of him. Still running, there's another defender. The defender decides not to go low. J Love ducks his shoulder, pow, runs right over him. I said, bro, pick your poison, man. You know what I mean? Like, that's the one I'm like, there you go. That's the run I choose.
Say it all the time.
Because like you said, though, man, it's about being able to recruit the talent, develop the talent, and the culture that you created. We got to talk to you 2 years ago, right? Before, obviously, last year happened and before you continued to grow this program. I think the sky's the limit, bro. We appreciate your time again, man. Can't wait to see what happens down at Hard Rock.
Grateful, man.
Appreciate you, bro. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, Coach, honestly, though, when he got lost against Indiana, though, I was like, okay, he different.
Oh, yeah.
He's different.
Listen, that's the first time, though, that guy was close to him now,
Hey,
you know?
When he got lost,
Bengals, though.
when he got lost against Indiana.
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On the vision I can trust. Limitless. Take a stomach, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up.